Hi everyone.
Hi,
Welcome to this video. My name is Korul and this is
I'm John Temai.
we are GDD students here at the University of Goruka, and this video is part of our assessment of the course Education Psychology, which is one of the 5 courses we are taking this year. So Temai will introduce to us the topic of our discussion and we'll begin.
In this discussion we are going to talk about Freudian stage 3, also known as phallic state, and it is the third stage of Freud psychosexual development. This discussion will be very helpful to the married couples and those young adults who are soon to become parents. So we urge you all to stay tuned with us as we continue with this very important discussion. Alright, before we go ahead and look at what is Freudian stage 3 or the phallic state, Enoch will just give us a brief background on the Freud psychosexual development theory.
Alright, Sigmund Freud is the father of psychoanalysis, and he developed a theory called the Freud psychosexual development theory. And his theory profoundly impacted our understanding of the human mind. So the core idea behind Freud's theory is that outside pleasure-seeking energy or libido, which focus on different erogenous zones as they are matured. So each stage presents a unique challenge or conflict that must be resolved for healthy psychological development. So according to Freud, he identified and developed 5 stages of the psychosexual development theory. And these stages are oral stage, phallic stage, the anal stage, latency, and the genital stage. So in this video, we will only focus on the third stage, which is the phallic stage or the Freudian stage 3. So Temai will tell us more about the phallic stage and the conflicts or challenges that are associated with it.
Alright, thank you, Enoch. As Enoch has highlighted already, there are 5 different stages of development in the in the Freud psychosexual development theory that begins from birth to the adulthood. However, our discussion will be centered on the third stage of the psychosexual development, which is known as the Freudian stage 3 or the phallic stage. So the phallic stage is basically the third stage of Freud psychosexual development theory, which occurs at the age of 3 to 6. So Sigmund Freud, also known as the father of psychosexual theory, he derived that name phallic from the Greek word for penis, called phallus, because Freud states that at this stage of the development, the central focus is on the penis. That is why he gave this name, the phallic state, to the third stage of the psychosexual development. So according to Freud, at this stage, or the phallic stage, children becomes increasingly aware of their genitals. And when they become more aware of their genitals, boys, they develop a conflict known as the Oedipus complex, and girls also, they develop a conflict or a challenge known as the Electra complex. So Freud further stated that when children become increasingly aware of their genitals, and then when they start to differentiate between their genitals and then those of the opposite sex, they start to develop sexual desires towards their opposite sex parents. Like boys, they develop sexual desires for their mothers, and then girls, they develop sexual desires for their fathers. So 2 of the conflicts that arise in the phallic states or in Freudian stage 3 are the Oedipus complex and the Electra complex. So Enoch will elaborate more on the Oedipus complex, and then later I'll talk more on the Electra complex.
Alright, the name Oedipus complex was derived from the Greek myth, where Oedipus is a young man. He kills his father and then he marries his mother. So Sigmund Freud used the word Oedipus complex to name or describe boys at phallic stage who develop sexual desires for their mothers. So in young boy, the Oedipus complex or conflict arises because the boy develops sexual desires for his mother,
Yes.
upon becoming aware of his genital and his opposite sex genital. So at this stage, one may realize that little boys will favor their mothers over their fathers.
Yes.
And in general or societal perspective, we may say that boys are their mommy's best friend. And yes, we are not wrong in saying that, but in psychological perspective, they are not just mommy's best friend, but the boys are sexually attracted to their mothers. So according to Freud, the boy would want to get rid of his father and then possess his mothers completely. But then the boy thinks that if the father were to find out about this, then his father would take away what he loved the most. So at phallic stage, from 3 to 6 years old, boys especially, what they love the most is their penis. So they think that if the father find out about this, then he will take away their penis. So from there, the boy develop a feeling called castration anxiety. So castration anxiety is simply the boy fear of the retaliation from the father. So the boy fears that if his father find out about this, then he will castrate him. So then this castration anxiety leads to the boy to surrender his love for his mother, and then he identifies some of the roles of his father, and then he starts to imitate and adopt his father characters and values. So like the boys, the girls also develop a feeling for their father, and this is called the Electra complex. So Tema will tell us more about the Electra complex.
Right, thank you. Electra complex is also known as the negative Oedipus complex, and it is simply the opposite of the Oedipus complex. Like in Oedipus complex, where boys develop sexual desires for their mothers, in Electra complex, girls at the age of 3 to 6, they also unconsciously develop and cultivate sexual desires for their fathers, and in doing so, they view their mothers as competitors. Alright, so while the term Electra complex is frequently associated with Sigmund Freud's theory, actually the term was derived and coined by another person. He's one of Sigmund Freud's best friend. His name was Carl Jung. He derived and coined the term in 1913. So Carl Jung derived the term from a Greek myth where a girl called Electra and a brother called Orestes, they plotted the death of their mother as a revenge for their father's murder. So according to Freud, during female psychosexual development, a young girl initially attached to her mother, but then when she reaches the phallic stage, and then when she becomes aware of her genitals, and then when she discovers that she does not have a penis, now she starts to develop some form of hatred towards her mother, and then she moves away from her mother and then get attached to her father again. So, and then but then the girl also develops a feeling, not a feeling, but the girl also develops fear of losing her mother's love, because she fears that the more she gets attached to her father, she might lose her mother's love. So now the girl starts to closely identify her mother's role, and then try to imitate and adopt those female gender-based roles. And then in doing so, the girl will resolve the conflict, and then yes, she will resolve the conflict. So basically, in the phallic states, children become increasingly aware of their genitals, and then they start to differentiate between the gender, and then in doing so, the boys, they develop the Oedipus complex, they develop the sexual desires for their mothers, and then the girls, they develop electra complex. They develop sexual desires for their fathers. Yes. So yes, that's in the phallic states. So to conclude, Freud theorized that unresolved conflict at this stage, the phallic states, could potentially lead to future issues like sexual dysfunction, problems with gender identity, or difficulty in forming relationships. So in boys, phallic fixation might result in anxiety about sexual performance, the need for reassurance and validation, or a tendency to be overly assertive or aggressive.
And in women or girls, fixation at phallic states could lead to a desire to dominate men, or rivalry with other women, or the need for male attention or approval. So as parents, you need to know and understand the different stages of the children's psychosexual development, especially the phallic stage, and the conflicts that are associated with it. So when the children reach that stage, their behaviors must not be disturbed or discouraged, but must be respected to our future psychology-related issues.
Right. In addition to what Inoke said, parents must also know and understand that those feelings and behaviors, they are not permanent. They are just temporal, and as children grow from one stage to another stage of the development, those feelings and behaviors will slowly be diminished. So as a parent, when our children reach the phallic stage, we must know that for girls, they are going to develop the electra complex, and then boys, they are going to develop the Oedipus complex. So what best as parents we can do is we must not discourage those behaviors, or we must not disturb those behaviors. Instead, we must respect those behaviors, because they are not permanent but temporal. So with that, that brings us to the end of our discussion, and thank you all for your time, and bye for now.